Thank you for joining us today as our pre-stream chat is about flatulence. How's everybody's morning going?
Fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
It's all right.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
jeez. It will always make me think of my future's so bright, I have to wear sunglasses.
I don't understand that reference.
Of course you don't. 99.9% of the planet wouldn't. It is literally the name of an episode of the original 21 Jump Street TV show.
Was that like a
very
caveman painting?
reference then?
What was
I
that?
didn't even know it had a TV show.
Oh God, that's how Johnny Depp got famous. He was a sex symbol when he was like 16. Yeah, you know. But anyways, it stood out to me. It resonated with me. The episode started with a good old American family in the 1980s sitting around the table having breakfast in the morning, with the daughter being like, "Poof, poof, I'm here to be a good kid," and the son being like, "I'm rebellion." And then all of a sudden, the windows, sliding doors smash open, and two kids come bursting in and with guns, and they rob the whole house, and they leave out the other side. And for some reason, it resonated with me.
America, where you can be burgled by people with guns at any moment.
Well, to be fair, that can happen anywhere else. Speaking of places we can get burgled by guns in any moment, welcome to Mass Effect. See that? I did an ollie transition. Where you guys are
Don't
flying.
steal my thing.
Where you guys are flying in a rusted old tin can and are getting attacked by two ships at the same time as you are flying into the system of
That's what was happening.
the home system of the, what are they called?
Solarians.
Solarians. Thank you.
The Greys.
Nouns, don't be a problem today. Don't be a problem. I think I said we would be starting this session with literally rolling initiative.
That sounds like
pretty
something you say fairly often, actually.
Yeah, it's because I'm like, I don't want to get into combat at the end of this. I mean, intentional cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, but I think you're probably more accurate.
Yeah. All right.
You do the initiative because you're the pilot.
Oh, that's right. I'm the pilot now. I'm the pilot now.
Do our work for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Where's the pilot? There it is. NPCs. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. A 2 there. A 1 there. And making a piloting check. There we go. Oh, not piloting check. Initiative check.
Yep. Hey!
I got an 8. Oh, that was... I have to...
Now you got to do the bad guy.
Yeah, I totally just realized. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Thank you, Ollie. I'm doing that one now. Yeah, this is a start. Good morning. I haven't had coffee yet. You see, usually on Wednesday mornings, Erin drives 20 minutes each way to my favorite coffee place and offers to get coffee for my wife and myself because Erin is amazing. And if she doesn't do that, because
I had a lot to do this morning, I'm sorry.
either A, she has a lot to do, or B, she wanted to sleep, she offers to make me coffee. But she didn't do that because she's literally in the process of moving, and it probably would have been nice if somebody else offered that for her. So I don't have coffee this morning. What the fuck?
Fuck you, Scott. All I have is my French. I was gonna go make coffee, but then I realized all I have is my French press, and it's a really long process of like boiling the water, taking the temperature of it, timing it just right so it's like steeping just long enough.
I will brew coffee during the first break, and we will drink it during the second break, and then you'll be like, what the fuck? It's already too late at that point. All right, let's go. Last initiative roll. All right, it looks like you guys, because of your pilot, because they're amazing, and for no other reasons whatsoever, actually get to go first. So, that being said, because you saw those ships come into space, like I said, they were kind of like flew in from where they were hiding around other astral not constructs, my brain's not working there. Other celestial bodies. They come flying around and swooping towards you using a pincer tactic. This is picked up, of course, by what's his name there, Icarus, like incoming, and then he immediately just starts doing all these maneuvers and flying and everything. You guys can immediately feel the transition of where the ship is, and it's moving out of this terrible positioning and trying to get into a better one to be fighting two foes at once. That being said, I just realized I did another Ollieism. God damn it. Do not do this, Scott. That being said,
it's all gone full circle.
It's so bad. That being said, how is it you guys would like to handle this? It is your turn. CP is coming online. You are the captain now.
Oh, you want to fly away?
Yeah, like, we have one dinky gun. They have more guns.
That's true. That last.
We are flying a rust bucket.
Good ship.
Well, we could do both. We could do escape combat, and we could probably fire one weapon.
But we'd be better at escaping combat if we have plot point Winnie doing boost engines in the engineering department.
Oh, look at that.
That's a good point.
I've done a think.
How much CP do we have to use?
Well, it depends on who's generating it.
No. Because you have... I'm going to answer your question, Aaron, because I know where you're going. Because you also have Winnie on the ship now, and you have Icarus who can split if need be. You guys have 5 CP, no question.
Okay.
And that's assuming we use support department, right? Which you pretty much just always do.
Yeah. So reduce something by 2. So...
You can make boost engine free.
We could make boost engine free, but we are missing 1, essentially, if we want both escape combat and fire one weapon.
Let me just check.
That'll be sick.
Pilot.
Escape combat's expansive.
It is.
All right.
It's 4.
So what I would need then to be able to pull this off. So there are 5 positions. You have a pilot. You have Winnie doing engineering. You have what's his face on the comms. You have what's his face in gunning, and you commanding. There's 5 positions and actually 5 people in those positions. Now Icarus has the ability, if he wants to become more or less take over and become additional.
I technically don't.
Why not?
You explicitly said I can't do that on this ship.
Oh, that's right, because you can't interface with the ship.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna run away.
There you go.
Sounds like it.
I just wanted you to remember.
Oh, no, that's right. Because the ship has been upgraded, I was supposed to slip in other secret free upgrades or whatever that were being worked on. So it was one of those things where when the ship was inside the shop, you had already clearly started all the work that you were trying to do beforehand. You had already put some money into it, some time into it, but I explicitly said you haven't finished the project of doing that yet. While the ship was in the shop, they completed doing that task for you. It was part of the whole rewiring, making everything go well. Now, Ollie, for you to be able to generate additional CP while those other departments are being activated by other people's, you're going to have to actually make a check for me. So it's either engineering or piloting. You can make either a electronics or a pilot check to try to generate CP, even though somebody else is already using that position.
I am doing electronics because I'm good at it.
You go right ahead, sir. Sorry, I totally didn't mention that. Ooh! Very good roll.
I have still not leveled up, so I should really roll my new HP at some point.
All right, so you actually did get the additional CP. I believe that's the exact 1 extra that you needed, right, Aaron? And so you guys are able to do that exact task. So pilot is going to start making the check. The other person is going to pursue. And we're going to have boost engines, which increases the speed by 2, which is incredible. That's a huge bonus. Oh, Jesus. My thing keeps zooming on me. It's a Mac.
So just to be clear, we're boosting engines, escaping combat, and firing one weapon, or no?
No firing weapons involved.
Okay, let's make that piloting check. And we're going to get that additional plus. So you guys got a 15.
Yeah.
And now it's their turn to do their pursue. I have to roll this twice. Wow, that's actually a really, really good roll. And that is not. So you guys immediately start trying to get the flip out of flop, and that boost to the engines that you did there, Aaron, that Rick, Aaron, whoever it was, that was a really good idea, you guys. So that boost to the engines gives an additional +2 to your piloting check on top of the 3d6 you're rolling and everything. So you immediately turn. So the way it's going is as you guys are flying in, getting ready to like reducing speed and preparing to approach the actual planet that you intend to land on, all of a sudden you start noticing like the indiction alarm goes off because what's his name there? Icarus picks it up and sends out the alert. So the pilot does continue to reduce speed, but does like a crazy Ivan, where all of a sudden the ship does like a quick like kickflip, doing the spin and blasting back the other direction, having them chasing you guys instead of intercepting you guys. But the boost to the engine at the right moment, at the tail end of the crazy Ivan, gives you guys so much afterburn. You're able to fly away very, very, very quickly. I think I referenced 3 things in that. So as you guys are flying away, you're seeing them go from your medium to long range sensors. There, Ollie. I can see that on stream.
That's glorious. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I've just been reading my rules, and there's one I definitely need to ask you about because I don't think you'll allow me to do it.
All right, guys, we're gonna go to the break now.
Bye.
No, I'm just kidding. So, all right, you guys make your way, flying a good distance away. They're pursuing, and one is doing okay. The other one is failing hard. All right, guys, it's back to your turn again. I assume you're going to continue doing that. Is there anything else you want to try to do from this range?
No, there's 2 ships.
If I could, instead of boosting the engines, if I could I know Sensor Ghost doesn't actually do this, but try to essentially stealth mode, that would be probably more efficient, so they just lose us.
No, it does do that, what you're saying, but not the way that necessarily you're initially thinking. So the way it works is you give this advice to the pilot and captain, and
I just say it's an option.
Yep, you guys think it's a good idea to Sensor Ghost?
So
what Sensor Ghost actually does in the rules is it gives us AC.
Yes.
What I essentially want to do is a stealth check.
I've done plot versions of that as a stealth check for a long while now. So okay, cool. You guys want to give it a try? Awesome.
Yeah.
So
let's try it.
Sensor Ghost, remind me how many points.
I
think it's
9,
2.
It's a difficulty 9 in 2 CP.
So first, you're gonna have to roll me that same piloting or electronics to make sure you generate the additional CP to pull it off.
This dice is taking forever.
What was that?
That dice took forever on my end.
Oh, gotcha. So you generate the additional CP because 8 is the DC that I wanted, and you guys start making your way to the even further from them, or at least theoretically, going to roll for that. Let me do my piloting, and then we'll handle the Sensor Ghost. Boom.
We're gonna do this sneaky beaky like.
All right. Wow, that other ship is just doing terribly. Okay, so roll me your decryption intelligence. But you do terrible.
Wow! That's an absolute garbage fire.
I mean, that is awful.
That's the worst thing that could ever happen.
So this is what happens. As you guys are flying away, and once again, you're increasing the distance between yourself and at least the first ship behind you. The second one is more or less blown away. As you guys are flying as quickly as you can, and you make this mention, what happens is the pilot chooses to veer around another celestial body, literally flying around one of the other planets in the system in an attempt to break typical sensor communications, like the sensor ability to see you guys. You then start throwing up a Sensor Ghost to try to hide your all signals being sent outwards so they can actually continue to keep track of you. Unfortunately, the planet that you guys had flown around did not have as strong of the electromagnetic field to it to disrupt the signals in the way that you had anticipated. Your processing was too focused on the combat itself as opposed to the scanning of the planet, so it did not benefit you. You have to recalibrate to try again. All right, so they're going to continue pursuing you guys. They can't even attack because you're too far away. I mentioned you guys are kind of at like an extreme range. You guys are well beyond that now. You're on the verge of breaking all sensors being able to pick you up, unless they have specific, even extremely longer range sensors installed to pick this up from even further. So we're going to make our first piloting check. And for the record, you guys do have sensors like that.
Right, so we could potentially scan their weaponry from outside of combat distances.
Scan them in general, yeah.
Cool.
And so with that, the way it kind of goes is, as I described, with the turning around and turning and fleeing, the ships are trying to pursue you. You guys whip around one of the celestial bodies in an attempt to break any form of communication with them, any ability for them to pick you up. But you actually ended up leaving the range, or at least you believe the range of their systems, and to continue burning even further and further from the system itself. So to continue this this flight from them, you do have to leave the actual like realm of the solar system. So this ends up being a fight that's going to last for about an hour. So everything that we just described here is about an hour's worth of flying to break away. You guys are leaving the system itself, heading further and further into what is kind of like the space between stars. That's not a big concern. You can always jump back if you need to, but you are pulling yourself over there. What's the plan from here, Captain and crew?
I'd suggest we go a bit further. And try to scan their weaponry from a safe distance to see, like, what kind of threat we were facing. See if we can find out anything else.
Absolutely. I'm less interested in finding about their weaponry and more about finding about the ships themselves and who is chasing us. Can I find that out, Scott?
Absolutely. So what you're going to want to do is do your scanning check there, Ollie. Don't forget you have your sensors array.
In +2.
So you do attempt to scan the ship from way out here, and it's one of those things where you can detect the two ships because of the huge distance that you are. You can actually detect that the ships are there, but you can't pick up any details from where you are. Now, you're welcome to try to do that again. However, if you continue to try to ping their ships from this distance, they might be able to pick up the fact that they're being pinged. So you're going to have to try to do so with a sensor ghost in the future.
So what did we get from the scans? The base design of their ship, more or less?
You know that they're human crafts, that they are light frigates, and that the model of them would suggest, you can't get like an actual model number or anything like that, but the basic like look of the ship, which is what's telling you that it's human, tells you that it's clearly designed to be able to handle combat. So
I would like to commit processing and make a lore query data to try and work out what the common usage of that ship is, colloquially.
Absolutely. So more or less you just kind of jump into the extranet, which, by the way, your ties to it are a little bit looser with how far from the solar system you are. But you're able to use like weaker signals, back loopholes,
Google
and stuff like
foo.
that to jump in. And what you end up pulling up is that this is actually a 3 models older version of an Alliance military light frigate. These frigates were specifically used for getting in and getting out of hot zones very quickly. They had more armor than a typical ship of its size, so it could actually withstand a decent amount of incoming attacks. But their weapons that they had on them weren't necessarily that powerful because they had to, balance safety versus, but they usually get in and get out relatively quickly. You do know that many of these, because they're decommissioned, have gone to other peoples since then, and aftermarket upgrades have done things like install engines or power fluctuators that are greater than what existed for humans prior, and so maybe bigger weapons or faster engines or whatever it is could have been added to them. But the one thing still stands true: they can withstand a beating before they get taken down. Beyond that, though, you don't have enough data with what you've currently pinged off of them to.
Well, that's more than enough context-wise that I can tell them that, and then obviously to Carmine that we often efface people using decommissioned Alliance gear, and that we should.
Yeah, as soon as you tell him that it's like an ex-human ship made for getting in and out of hot zones.
Off a bunch of them, yeah.
Basically, his hunch, like, we gotta get out of here, is now confirmed.
Yeah.
His instincts, basically.
I vote that the not pissing them off route and not scanning them again.
So
yeah. discretion is the better part of valor.
So the one of the things that you're also figure out while you're doing that, so you guys are having this conversation, and then something pings for you because you committed processing to being on the extranet. Ollie, could you do me a favor? Could you actually roll me a perception intelligence check, please? Pretty please.
Is this using the scanners or is this something else?
Not the scanners. You notice, because now it's active, so it's a way easier DC, there is a signal being broadcasted from your ship that is sending out a transmission. A quick check to see what that transmission is, because unfortunately it's kind of open since it's a broadcast. It's transmitting your current location, your current coordinates.
Where to? Or is that too hard to tell?
You'd have to roll a decryption check to try to find out more information.
Absolutely. Oh, I also have a +1 to that. I didn't add.
Okay, so with a 10, you can't tell exactly where it's broadcasting it to. It might just be a general blast outwards. However, you are familiar with the frequency that it pulls up there. So you're see this, and you're kind of running through the data, these frequencies, try to see if they ring any pings, if they're typically used for other organizations, so on and so forth. And you come to the realization you've encountered this frequency use before. When you were on the what planet was that? Where you guys were on the facility where they were gathering the helium-3. So you come to realize this is probably a frequency used by that human Alliance extremist group, whoever they are. Category 6.
Rattle my way through the floorboards of the ship and I find whatever's making it and I smush it.
Okay. So to find out where exactly it's coming from, the rest of the crew could actually assist with this if you'd like. It is going to be a perception intelligence for you to track the signal. Other people, you can physically look with a perception wisdom or a perception intelligence, or you can try to argue something else if you got a better idea.
I'll commit a little processing.
I'll go for perception intelligence.
Okay. Awesome. So it's actually going to be Carmine that finds it first. You see, what happened was you guys may have forgotten about it, but while you guys are searching around trying to find out where this is, all of a sudden Carmine's the one that remembers. While you were fighting Category 6 beforehand, when you guys were throwing the thing and it blew up and whatnot,
good times.
The drone that you guys were fighting actually flew onto your ship and around the corner and has been in a sleeper mode ever since. And you guys have never discovered it, never found it, where it was hidden. And
I never even noticed that happened.
I kind of forgotten about it.
I know, it's wonderful.
I would have absolutely remembered if I ever realized that happened.
Wouldn't have found that in the shipyard. It's like, hey, why is there a random drone attached to this wall? And be like,
So remembering
Big
this,
ship.
Carmine completely changes the way that he's searching for things, and actually is specifically running scans throughout the ship, looking specifically for drones and the type of frequencies that they give off. And he actually does find the drone, and the drone is actually hiding within the walls. Who knows what a hatch used to get into there? But the area where wires run within the walls, because the drones aren't very large, is actually hiding within the walls over by the mechanical room, the maintenance room, the room that nobody is ever in or ever uses ever. So it's just where the bodies are sitting there. Actually, I think even those are in Ollie's room. So you find them inside. You find it inside the walls there, but it's actually behind a wall. You can't get to it yet.
all right, I let everyone else know because good information is supposed to be shared.
Well, time to cut through the wall.
Pretty much, I can get out my Omniblade.
Actually, yeah. I mean, if the Omniblade can do it, I guess.
Is there an easier way through the wall, Scott? Since I've been removing panels on the ship before.
You can exactly that. Remove panels off of it if you want to. It's slower to remove a panel than to cut through it, but obviously it doesn't hurt your ship. And if everybody's working together, it certainly makes things quicker. And you do have Whitney to assist.
That's true, yeah. Let's do the non-destruction route on our own ship.
So making everybody aware of it.
Destroy thing.
Does anybody go to get Winnie? And if so, what do you say?
I assume we were searching around the ship for a beacon. Winnie was helping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, a
would've just been
broadcast
there.
goes to the whole ship. Like, Carmine goes, "I've found a thing. It's hiding in here. It's a drone that snuck in here. It's hiding in a wall."
So when you guys grab her and call her over to assist, she's actually going to get Icarus to. She's going to call to Icarus and be like, "Icarus, I can use my Omni tool to reach out to it through the wall. Here, let me patch through to you so you can jump on as well." And just start using her because she has the Omni tool that goes through walls, right? So she starts using that to actually try to hack into the drone itself. Ollie, you're much like how who was it? I think Constantini was before, working off like a loop patch over to you, so you can start trying to hack into this thing as well. You're welcome to make me a decryption check, sir. Ooh, and you it's when mentor. You know what I'm saying?
The student has become the master.
Thank you. So
that's what we wanted.
So she starts trying to hack into the thing, but unfortunately, it has enough firewalls up to stop her from being able to get breached through easily. But Icarus just comes in and ding, brings a virtual fire extinguisher to put out those walls. And
do I recognize the framework of the drone in any way? I'm about to sneeze.
Once again, it's old Alliance tech that's been retrofitted, which is pretty common. As soon as you deactivate that, you start to notice. So as soon as you deactivate it, a couple minutes later, the pilot calls to you guys. I don't know what you did, but all of a sudden they're no longer tracking us. It seems as though they were following us beforehand, but they suddenly started to go a different direction. Hold on. And like you feel a little bit of the gravity happen as the ship's doing a hard turn, and you guys are able to see that he says over again, all clear now, over the intercom.
Free drone.
Looks like we fixed that problem.
Icarus.
What type of drone is it?
I actually have the stats for it right here. I'm gonna just share it with you.
Okay.
This is easier.
Because I can do some fun stuff with drones.
And there's the stats with it. There you go.
Oh, look at that little cutie.
Yeah. All right. So, the nifty. I mean, the coolest part about the drone is the fact that it has tons of shields. I described the model ages ago when you guys were actually fighting it the first time. But you know that this model has tons of shields. 25 shields on a little drone is a lot.
Ooh.
So,
That's more than I have.
Mm-hmm. The only downside is that the shields can't heal during combat because of like how it works. It's after combat it regenerates.
Cool. Icarus is gonna like pick it up and sort of start fitting with it. Like, oh, it's so sweet. I'm going to name it. I mean, this will be efficient for combat purposes.
Carmine gives you a stare.
Icarus looks away like a dog that's been told off.
Aww.
Just as a reminder, drones in Mass Effect are actually relatively small things. So this thing is about the size of a grapefruit, and then from there it has a hollow display that goes around and it kind of like depicts all the things that it's doing.
Kind of looks like a beetle.
Yeah. Oh, that in particular one. Yeah.
Like a big beetle.
So you guys are the problem is solved. What's the plan from here, crew?
I think we just head to the Solarian homeworld now.
Okay. Do you want to head directly there, or do you want to like dick around for a few hours to make sure that they fly blind, or what do you think is the best way to shake these peeps?
Is there another like common area people would go around here? Could we like pretend to go that way and then dick around?
That's a really good question.
At the very least, we could try and make it look like we're going to a different port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A different relay.
I mean, it's not.
Or even just a different city on the planet.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Mos Eisley because it's the only place. So you're in the Anos Basin. It's the Prana system, which always made me giggle because they're fish people and it's piranhas. I was like, Their home world is
Pretty
Sirkesh, which is the second planet in the system. Where's 3? Which is Dragal. 4
Dragal?
is Heligoose.
I like the name of Dragal.
Almost done getting your answer for you. Yeah, Dragal's a cool name.
It's not really a cool name, but
It's
it's
cool.
an entertaining name.
And then there's also Peto, which is an asteroid. Okay, so asteroid is nope. Sandril, nope. Dragal, nope. So Dragal does have military outposts that orbit Dragal. If you guys wanted to go and deal with the Solarian military. And then there's the 4th planet from the sun, which is Heligoose. That actually happens to be a gas giant. What is it? Spacer investors are fond of saying you can't exhaust the gas giants, but the Solarians certainly tried. So that's Heligoose.
Well, if we can make it look like we're going for the gas giant, because we are a survey vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We probably would have been going there anyway. Like, that makes sense. Like,
Awesome.
since we're investigating that.
So you guys are going, and it's going to make your way there. So the pilot is just going to fly around that way. And Ollie, I do have to put it upon your shoulders, sir, to sensor ghost.
I will do that right now. I'm doing it now.
I mean, you rolled 3 6s on a decryption check earlier, so it should be fine.
Yeah, but then you just said that out loud.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I did it.
And now you rolled double ones. Oh, sorry, 11. So you make your way around, going obviously staying to the far side of any celestial bodies that are there, flying around the star first and then heading back. This only adds like several extra hours to your trip as you're doing a sensor ghost and trying to fly by them. It's not that you have to go at extreme lengths. You just need to stay within long range scanners but outside of their short range scanners, because those are going to be way more powerful. Eventually you make your way over towards Heligoose. Now, are you actually going to the planet, or do you just try to line up your trajectory and then dropping onto Sirkesh?
It was all a ruse.
Okay.
It was all a ruse.
So you just line up your trajectory so it would look like you're flying that way, but then as you're getting close to Sirkesh, you're going to like more or less drop down and start heading towards that planet faster than you typically would. Which, of course, doing so, because this is part of the ruse and you have to pull out of the hyperspeed quickly, because this is a part of the ruse, you, of course, get pinged by the Solarian military, who sees a vessel flying towards their planet at very high speeds, decelerating at a not as safely as you typically would going towards a planet. So you do get pinged. You can clearly tell it's the Solarian military.
I just respond with essentially ask the Pip why we're here.
I don't
not
think
just that, but more than
I think
that.
a simple explanation of we have been attacked by pirates would do.
Is that better? Then sure. Then
Yeah.
that's also fairly reasonable.
We're
They could
trying to
also
get the
just be
fuck
like-
out of Dodge.
We don't care if you're attacked by pirates. But...
So you say you get attacked by pirates. The immediate response is, we're going to need a data dump from you. Please send all records of this immediately.
I mean, I think that's okay. I don't think we did anything terrible during that fight. We just
literally
ran away.
did nothing
So yeah,
out
I
of
think
the
we can
ordinary.
absolutely send that chunk of data.
So when you look to everybody else in the cockpit, and you're like, I don't think we haven't done anything terrible, right? Yeah, we'll just send that chunk of data. And so the pilot says, technical little problem with that. I am technically an outlaw, and so if you allow my name to be in the data dump, then they will see that you have an outlaw piloting the ship.
Why would your name be in the data dump?
Are you not going to send records of the who's in the crew?
That's irrelevant to what is the data that they are asking for.
I didn't say anything. And continues flying, pretending like
Yeah.
they were an outlaw.
It literally would have just been the combat log
Yeah.
he sends.
Yep. So like the scanning, the combat log,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So you send that over, and they report back to you saying that, like, more or less giving you a place that you can land. It is not exactly where you were hoping to. Would you like to, like, say, request to go where you want?
We have an actual dock we need to go to, so I will respond with that. And I assume we were given some kind of key, like, that we could basically say, hey, we're actually meant to be here.
We are here on Solarian science business.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So when you do that, and also present the key for doing so, they inform you, give us a couple moments to confirm this. They get back to you seconds later, because Solarians are always very fast, and you already have authorization to land where it is that you're supposed to. And so you guys are able to bring the ship down. Even though you had flown in at a higher speed than would be safe, the pilot easily handles the reduction of speed, and you guys are able to land safely aboard the planet without any concerns. So you guys do land over the docking area. The place that you're landing into, remember, Solarians are an aquatic people. Surkesh is an aquatic world. So even just dropping down onto the planet itself is a beautiful sight. You have to imagine that it looks very much like what Earth did many years ago, and it's clear skies, it's blue oceans, so on and so forth. Just absolutely looks stunning. It has less lands than what Earth did many years ago, but about as much land as Earth is going to in about 100 years. So you as you guys are coming in, you can actually see, like, the horizon, just the view here, the way that the light stretches on this planet is absolutely beautiful. Where you're going to dock, it's actually a dock that sits in the water itself. It's seemingly just a dock sitting on top of the ocean surface without anything around it. No buildings attached to it, no anything, aside from, like, a small little, like, if you got out of your thing, there's a place where you could step into. So as you go and you land your vessel there, and you put the vessel down, immediately afterwards the station starts reaching up to clasp with certain aspects of your actual ship itself. Now, these are things that don't exist on human vessels. These the way that these attachments happen. These are things that don't exist on most Taurian vessels and Krogan vessels, so on and so forth. However, despite being 3,000 years old, this vessel does have the way that these attach, because as it attaches, all of a sudden the ship starts to go down. The floor beneath you opens up, and the vessel starts to drop down, and the floor beneath you, the ceiling over you closes. As you enter into this tunnel down below, and you're dropping down, the tunnel starts to fill up with water. A quick scan of the composition of the water, you see that this is actually a scrubbing material. This is something designed specifically to clean your vessel before it's brought completely down below. So it's actually the water that's being rushed past your vessel is actually going through, like, a filtration process to clean everything off of it. The air inside your vessel is being filtered to go through the whole process, so on and so forth. One of the things that you do see, Ollie, is that the programming within your vessel is now, because of the way you approached it beforehand, actively fighting against what the station is trying to do, which is to change the atmospheric composition of the inside of the ship to match that of Solarian homeworld. Do you want the program to continue the fight? Or...
Yeah, I continue to fight it.
Okay, just do me a quick favor. Roll me a decryption check, please, and thank you. More or less, you kind of jump in and take over controls.
Yeah, exactly, right. I need my meat bags to remain comfortable.
The fun thing is, we'd actually probably be more comfortable in Solarian air just because it's so pure.
So you make your way down to way down there. You are able to maintain the current atmospheric composition that you guys want until finally the vessel settles down below. When it settles down to the bottom of the tube, the thing actually turns over. The entire ship flips over on the spot where it's locked onto, more or less making that it's upside down. And then everything stops. Processes stop. And you are free to leave the ship whenever it is that you'd like. Now, as a reminder, when you open the ship doors, it will flood water into wherever it is that you are. So, of course, you can go over to the airlock and only flood the airlock. But you are under the ocean. You are... When the door opens
under the sea.
We're not even in a biosphere. We're in like a dome. We're in a straight up underwater?
You're underwater, but within, of course, a facility that's down and underneath the water. So there is a biosphere there, but not with an air pocket. It's inside water.
I didn't know Solarians actually breathe the water.
Oh, Solarians are aquatic people.
They are amphibians, yeah. I just thought they were like, we want to be wet at all times.
Well, I guess we suit up then.
That's off of the home planet where you make your, you do what you got to do. So you guys suit up, get all your space suits on. Winnie does nothing, and you're able to go over to the airlock where you can open up the doors.
We do.
Okay,
very carefully.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to do anything else inside the ship first.
I don't think so.
No, we're basically just here to talk to people and do things.
Yeah.
Pilot's obviously staying behind. I think the rest of us are going.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair.
Okay.
So
I don't necessarily know if Winnie needs to go, but she probably will.
When you guys go into the airlock, and of course you shut the first door behind you, go into the second door, and you start doing like the airlock procedures to open the second door. Part of the airlock procedures is the gravity of the artificial gravity of your ship gets lessened over degrees and switches over to the gravity which matches out. So just more or less allows the outside gravity to take over. The funny part is your ship is upside down, so you go from like standing on the floor of your ship to, as gravity starts to lessen, you start feeling yourself getting pulled up towards the ceiling of the ship, and it's uncomfortable at first, and then you kind of like flip it over till you're standing on the ceiling of the ship, and then the doors open up and the whole cabin floods in with water, and it doesn't really matter anymore because you're now inside water. When you guys get out of there and start swimming through the place, what you're able to see around you is this is clearly like the docking area for a whole bunch of other ships now that you're upright again. And you look around to see, there's a ton of other ships that have been docked inside this area as well, and they're all on what's now the floor of this, they're all now what's on the ceiling of this station. So you look around, you see all these ships attached to the ceiling of the station. So when you look down below, beneath you, you're able to see a clean view of everything that's down there. So you can actually tell that going down below, there is a point in time where there's a point in space where there's actual air pressure that's causing a bit of a bubble. You can tell because of like the strange waviness that's in the area beneath you. There's a bubble that actually will have an atmospheric or a breathable area down there. But between where you are now and where that bubble starts to form, there are a bunch of different people that are swimming to and from their ships, unloading large, heavy things, which don't seem that heavy because you're underwater, and so on and so forth, from their ships, bringing them from the ceiling down below. One of the other things you quickly pick up is people don't just go down to the top of the bubble, because that would be bad. They'd fall. They go around the dome side and then will come out through the side of the bubble, so they can just kind of like walk onto the land below. I imagine you guys just head straight down to the air area. Okay.
Yeah.
So you swim for a bit, going around the dome side, and the experience of stepping through the actual water wall and into the ground on the other side is a very strange one, and all of you guys do so. It's a bit jarring. There's no like grace to it, whereas you see, of course, the Solarians around you do so with grace and seamlessly. Some of them actually like using grav lifts as something comes through, Mass Effect lifts. So as soon as something comes through, you can see the thing take over the weight of this whatever it's carrying a little bit stronger, and they can keep moving along. It's more or less like going down a single step with a dolly, right? Nothing crazy. And everybody here is in their hustle and bustle. The facility around you, as you're taking it in, judging by the way that people are dressing, is that the people delivering or shipping outwards a whole bunch of supplies. Clearly people wearing outfits of those that would have those kind of jobs. But most of the others around you are actually wearing the scientist white suits. This is clearly a science facility. Many of them are having conversations with one another in Solarian. Some of them are just kind of like looking down and working on a tablet, their what do they call it, Omni tools as they're going, depending on who it is and what they're doing. But because everybody's speaking in Solarian, there's a lot of conversation. The whole area reverberates sound very well. it gives this constant buzz noise because they all speak very, very, very quickly to one another. Mm-hmm. It gives this like constant buzzing noise, this humming noise that at first is like, oh God, this is like really loud and uncomfortable. But then like after a while, you come to realize if you got used to this would almost sound soothing, like rhythmic and relaxing. Much like people that live in, downtown New York City, like in Manhattan, like, I can't live without the sound of the city. I go crazy. So there you guys are. You have the person you're supposed to meet with, and I imagine you start heading to her.
Yeah, we ping her. It's like, hey, we are here now. Would you like to facilitate a meeting?
And she, of course, responds and just says, of course, I would like to meet with you absolutely and immediately. If you could please meet me at these coordinates, this is where my office is. And when she says these coordinates, it doesn't actually set coordinates up on your Omni tool. I keep forgetting that word. My apologies. As a matter of fact, what ends up happening is, because as I've described beforehand, Omni tools put up holo displays that only you can see. Others don't see the big orange lights or whatever that are on your Omni tool. What ends up happening is your Omni tool starts putting out like a trail of light a couple meters ahead of you of a path to follow. So as you continue following that trail, the trail continues to ahead of you, giving you directions where you should go.
I feel like
we're doing one of those city scanning missions, aren't we?
I'm sorry, Aaron?
I feel like that should have been a feature in the game, so we got lost like a lot less. Because everything fucking looks the same in Mass Effect, and I can't find my way anywhere.
It doesn't help that you, in real life, are just really bad with
I'm just so bad at it.
I have that issue in playing, what game is it where there's no mini-maps? I was just playing recently. I'm like, there's no mini-map, so I get lost.
I can't remember which of the 3 games was outright took the maps away also. Like, some of them just didn't, they got rid of the mini-map, and it's like, alright, well, I don't know where I am.
I think it's 3, but that's Dark Souls. I always say Dark Souls. Dark Souls is no map. Like,
that's intentional.
I know, but there's no select map, there's no mini-map.
Mass Effect is just, like...
Well, they
weirdly designed.
They have that little shitty feature too, where like, you could like press the same button, like the M button, and it would like give you like an arrow to like the direction you're supposed to go in.
Yep.
But it was always like as the crow flies and like the actual path.
Yes,
yeah.
It was the worst. It was the worst. I remember that.
The worst.
I feel like games have only just discovered how to do that and not send you as the crow fly.
Well, because I mean, more or less, all they would have to, because they've had, what's that called, path making or whatever it's called for many, many years. All they would have to do is you press a button, and more or less, it would have the algorithm do the path making or whatever, and then display that for you, right? Like you think that's only a little.
Oh, that's in a lot of games.
But yeah, nowadays, of course. But,
yeah.
Oh well. Anyways, so because the last one, 2012, right? So LePip is going to meet with you guys. So you follow this map, and honestly, you're genuinely appreciative of the fact that you did, because if you found the Presidium or the Citadel in general to be a bit confusing to navigate when you first get there, or even in certain regions, even after you've gotten familiar with it, oh my God, Solarian design is fucking strange. I mean, sure, Icarus, you were effectively finished being created on Tyarma, right? Which is an old Solarian. Yeah, no. There were almost no buildings there, and they're all pretty much destroyed. You know what I mean? Same thing for you, Carmine, who spent some time there. This place is confusing. You go to a Taurian facility, and everything is designed in, well, at least in Taurian mind, what is the most efficient, quickest, and easiest way to get there, and also very, very defendable. However, Solarians, whatever it is that they decided is the best way to organize, there are like long tubes, long tunnels that take long regions to get from point A to point B. The good news is, at one point in time, most of the time you spend your time walking through this like bubbled area, which, by the way, I didn't describe. It's literally air pressure that holds the water, which is relatively easy because this is a ceiling to the dome that it doesn't take much pressure to push it upwards. It's literally air pressure as opposed to like some sort of device or force field. Going back to what I was describing. At one point in time, you guys actually end up going into what would be the Solarian equivalent of, say, an elevator or an escalator, where you guys are told to step into a hallway, and as you step into the hallway, you're like, oh, okay, we're in water. And you start swimming slightly through the water when all of a sudden a current picks up and starts whooshing you at extreme speeds along this corridor very, very far, very, very fast. It takes a couple minutes for you to kind of get used to how to position yourself. You can't see it, but I'm doing like the Iron Man thing with my hands down on my hips. So for you to position yourself to hold relatively balanced while you're doing this. But when you come whooshing out the other side, like, holy crap, we've gone through, you can't see through, it's not glass, but we've gone through a significant amount of distance very, very rapidly. Eventually you get to the scientific division where she is. You can only imagine how many miles or kilometers you are under the sea. And you go to meet up with her inside of her office. As you guys approach the office, the door actually opens for you. It's an automatic door, and you guys step in. This area is, of course, in air and not underwater. Doesn't really work well for electronics underwater. So you guys are in air and not underwater. The atmosphere down here, of course, being very, very thick, very, very damp. It's like humidity is 120%. So you guys are down there, and as you come walking into the office, she's actually getting up as the door opens to come over and greet with you. And she's like, "Hello, it's a pleasure to be seeing you in person again.
It's good to be here."
I understand that you were able to find my son?"
Correct. He's already proven rather useful.
"I'm glad that you feel that way. Where is it that he is?"
He's on the ship. He mentioned some difficulties if he is to be seen here. Let's put it that way.
"Of course, I'll have to take care of that so he doesn't get arrested. But that's not why you're here. You're here for the discovery of this data. Please, if you'd like to make yourselves comfortable." You guys go over, take yourselves some seats. She'll go over, sit on her side of the desk. She starts plugging into the computer the program to start transferring the data through, of course, the hard lines, transferring the data directly from the vessel all the way to her computer. You can start seeing that the upload progress bar, or whatever it is that's happening there, it's probably going to take about 7 minutes or so for it to complete. Just by the way that it's moving and everything, probably about 7 minutes for it to complete. Which is just enough time for you guys to have like a little bit of small talk with one another, and for us to take our first break. So I'm going to go make some coffee for Erin. Ollie, I'd offer you some, but that whole...
I need some coffee right now.
So why don't we take about 7 minutes so I can go make some coffee and take our first break. See y'all soon.
Bye.